should we begin?
Let's do it.
I guess it's about that time.
Can we, suddenly, me writing this first line of the summary, 7 months have passed since the great squashing of the Yeerks.
It sure feels like 7 months have passed since we took that back.
Yeah.
Okay, chapter 27. We have the timer set up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going. Oh, yeah, you can't see.
I'm killing time right there.
6 seconds.
I don't
We
need
need
it.
to get Eddie 8 screens as soon as we can.
Yeah.
In 1996, Scholastic began publishing Animorphs. Over the next 6 years, Catherine Applegate and her husband, Michael Grant, under the pseudonym K.A. Applegate, produced 54 main series books, several spin-offs, and inspired a TV series, graphic novels, and a cult following. We can't tell you where we live. We can't even tell you our last names. But we can tell you our thoughts and feelings on this series, book by book. I'm Miranda.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Chris.
And we are the Anidorks. These may be kids' books, but we discuss dark themes and mature content. There may also be some explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
7 months have passed since the great squashing of the Yeerks. The Andalites have still not arrived at the Hork Bajir planet. Aldrea wonders if maybe Z-space has shifted since she arrived here, making the trip longer for the Andalites than it had been for her. Which I accepted at face value, but I can tell Chris and Miranda did not.
I don't even know if I want to
Keep reading.
It shifted! She and Dak have been hard at work in the meantime, training a Hork Bajir army in the art of guerrilla warfare, but nowhere near as fast as the Yeerks have been infesting the Hork Bajir. Aldrea knows that they are losing. One day, Aldrea, Dak, and their little army...
And your little army, too.
It sounds so cute. One day, Aldrea, Dak...
We'll stand by her.
Dak will stand by her. One day, Aldrea, Dak, and their little army... It sounds so condescending. And their little army retreated back to the Yarn City with a wounded soldier, hoping that the Yarn will heal the soldier. Quatsi greets them with no warmth. His people will not help the soldier. Quatsi explains that they have modified their physiology to resist Yeerks, weakening a blood vessel in their brain so that if infested by a Yeerk, the blood vessel would rupture. Aldrea and Dak ask Quatsi if he realized that if the Yeerks cannot control the Yarn, they will just exterminate them.
And boy, this got Quatsi's steam. He was like, away with you now.
Aldrea, Dak...
We won't help him.
Yeah. Aldrea, Dak, and their army depart. The wounded soldier dies. Up in the night sky, they see strange lights in the sky. Space battle, Aldrea realizes. The Andalites have arrived.
Mademoiselles, I and my friend, we are but soldiers. Anyway.
4 weeks at an end.
I don't know why that popped into my head. Well, I do. You said soldier like 3 times, and for some reason, like that just...
I like the one in the something
in the
hat.
in the light hat or something, yeah.
So I don't know if
it's
you
the
two
same
heard,
scene.
but Zero Space shifted.
Zero Space shifted. I don't know what to
feel
tell
it?
you.
Wait, hold on. Did you feel that? Zero Space just shifted.
I feel it. I feel the cosmos.
I feel the cosmos.
Zero Space has shifted.
Yep. See, when they did that in Katamari Damacy, that kicked ass. In this, it sucks.
What does that fucking mean? Zero Space is non-space. How does it move?
You two are more confused by Z-Space now, but for me, for the very first time, it makes sense. It just shifts.
No.
It shifted, Chris.
Like,
It's
because
that
like
simple,
what I
Chris.
understood, and like I know it's been disproved multiple times, but like my in my brain when it was like it's anti-space, the idea to me was that everything shrunk down to like a single point. But in theory, then you should be able to just literally move in an instant. There should not be like voyages in Zero Space. It should be like you're there. And like, so that doesn't make sense. And then I was like, maybe it just like inverts some thing. I don't know.
So maybe it's like a train you can't control. Maybe it's like, so like when I was working for an audio equipment company. We had a very serious meeting where we were discussing our new organizational system for all of our parts and how we were going to put them on the shelf. And people gave like great ideas. I gave one very serious idea, like blah, blah, blah. And we get to the end and it's like, is there anything we're missing here? And I said, well, I had one more idea that I wrote down last night.
Oh?
We have a lot of stray cats in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And we invite we put a bunch of dead chickens on the ground and all the cats come here. And then we get them, we tag them, and we tape the little Ziplocs with all the parts on them. And then we encourage them to stay here. And the way that it saves time is the cats will move in a random chaotic way where it's at least equally likely that something you need
will be right next to you.
Be right next to you. Exactly. Right.
I think I like this theory of zero space that all points in time are now cats who behave randomly and quixotically however they choose.
Sometimes they just shift. Like sometimes they shift.
Okay, I'm into this idea that like points in zero space have no correlation to their actual points in space and are now designated to a cat in zero space who moves however it chooses.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I was trying to convey that with the whole
this
shifting thing. So the cats were implied.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie just saw the vision.
And can you believe that after I said this genuine, brilliant idea, my boss sneezed at it? But of course, she's allergic to cats.
Oh, me too. My cat came and sat next to where I was laying my head, and I was like, "Thank you so much." Like, I'm so honored.
I'm not cheering for Quatsi. Like, I kind of...
Quatsi's not a good
annoying.
guy.
Yeah.
He's not a good guy.
The Marco of
He's
this
not.
book.
You know what? He's not a girl's girl.
The Marco.
I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to stir the pot.
Quatsi's fuck you. Marco's a girl's girl if I ever met one.
Is
Yeah,
Quatsi the
true.
Chapman of the book?
Ooh, maybe.
Ooh, you know what? Interesting idea. Something that I liked is like the guerrilla warfare mentioned in this book really resonates off of like weird pro-America Vietnam War child, like you know what I mean? Like,
I thought you were going to say because Marco morphs
Chapman
into a gorilla.
Also that.
So we learn that Dracon beams are modified shredders. They put other technology
That's right.
into them to make them
More painful.
seemingly, yeah, the only thing it really does is that it's more painful. It doesn't kill as cleanly.
Worse
Maybe it's
battery
more
life,
powerful.
Worse range.
Yeah, it's worse in every way, but it makes you suffer, I
More
guess.
in your pocket. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's a worse gun, but it violates all the Geneva Conventions somehow.
including the ones about parking at the UN building.
It's very strange, but we're very proud of what we've made.
The other thing that struck me in this chapter, there were a couple of things, just small things, little details. And one was like Dakami's description of the day. He goes, "It was a dark day. Mother Sky was weeping, sending down tears to soothe Father Deep's anger."
Hang on. Can I jump in real quick? I'm sorry to cut you off. This is Aldrea.
Aldrea says that?
Yes. This is Aldrea narrating.
Oh, sorry, I have the wrong... Oh, my God.
And
Well,
I
then
actually
why
noted
does
that
she-
too, because the fact that it's 7 months from now, I think it signifies how
Yes,
deeply
yes,
ingrained
good
she is in
catch.
Hork Bajir culture. I thought it said something really, it was
Well,
meaningful
then that
to me.
makes this next part make so much more sense, which is that she says that, which sounds so much like Dakami voice, but then clarifies for the Andalite record, it was raining.
Yeah. Yeah.
It literally says it was raining.
I just
and
wish it
was
was
just like,
parenthetical.
I got you.
It was raining.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It was raining.
Yeah.
It's like asterisk, then down in a footnote, it was raining.
Exactly.
In the first folio, this is sometimes mentioned as, sorry, I don't know if anybody studied Shakespeare. The other thing, the Arn's plan of our blood vessels will explode if the Yeerk infest us, so now they'll leave us alone, besides being gross, is just like such a stupid plan.
They've made themselves perma-fainting goats.
We made ourselves explode if you infest us, and they're gonna be like, "That's funny. We're gonna
It's
film it." Like,
We're gonna put this on Yeerk Talk. Like,
It's gonna be so funny. And then the only other thing I had, and I know Chris, you had a cute little line about this, and it was that Jagiel has a partner now in Delph Hajul. And Chris had a cute little note about that. I don't know if they wanna say it.
You know what? It's not.
If it's for the notes, it's not podcast material. It's for the notes. Okay,
it's not quite. It's just a little pun.
Okay, that's fine.
That you can get when you join our Patreon.
That's right. But my only thought was immediately after seeing these Hork Bajir supporting each other and being like, yeah, they're like paired off. You know, they pair off sooner than us. Immediately, Aldrea is like, I felt a wave of self-pity. No future for Jagiel and Delph. No future for Dak and me. And then she's like, we'd become closer, but we couldn't return to the days when we didn't know these things about each other. And I understand that she's not necessarily that could be a platonic thing, right? She's like, oh, no future for them, no future for us. It doesn't mean that we're coupled off. And then she talks about their friendship. But I don't know. The fact that she sees a couple and immediately thinks of herself and Dak, I don't know, it's kind of telling. It's a little.
It is telling.
I had a question about a name. We get a Hork Bajir. I think this is the only time they appear. Had Kalpak. And that's easier. That's either the laziest reusing of Ket Halpak.
I actually had this thought on my first read.
Or it's a jokey callback to Ket Halpak. But Ket Halpak is in the book.
It's probably saying that there's a lineage there, right?
No, because it's a different last name. It's Had Kalpak, not Ket Halpak.
No. Then they just
I think it's actually maybe Ket Halpak in a really bad disguise.
She's got a mustache.
Yeah.
We know that it's unlikely that this person they could have made it, actually.
Maybe we have to use, what's it called? Can we
Annotated?
Ancestry.
Yeah.
Ancestry. We gotta do Ancestry.com. I love, we got a 5-star review recently that said they believe in the KA rewrite theory that we pitched, that the books are being rewritten as we read them.
That's amazing.
I just have one last thing, which is that Aldrea sees strange lights in the sky and calls out space battle, which I feel like is not something that Aldrea, who has I presumably seen, maybe she hasn't seen space battle, but it still sounds like something that Aldrea wouldn't cry out upon seeing.
Now this is pod racing.
This is what I call space battle.
There was a chapter in the last, it might have been, I think it was last episode, but it starts off, the battle raged on.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it sure did, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, Had Kalpak, the thing they said was that Mother Sky's flowers are strange tonight, and that's when Aldrea's like, it's space battle!
It's space battle! Yeah,
it's kind of like it's her version of, it's her doing the thing where she's like, it was raining. She's doing the literal version of it. Yeah.
She just has to make sure any Andalites who read this understand what happened.
Chris, you're up.
Should we check out chapter 28?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I've been thinking we should check out this chapter. It seems like a good one to read. The Andalites land in the clearing where Aldrea's family once lived. An Andalite named Sofar greets her, a character that we as readers once saw train Elfangor in combat, kind of like the beginning of Dune. Sofar describes Dak as a scary-looking brute, as Aldrea's pet. He is surprised by how articulate Dak is and will not allow him to enter the Andalite ship in order to meet with the prince. Yeah, real cool vibe. Aldrea demands that Dak be allowed to join her in the meeting with the prince, but Dak does not want to join her. He tells Sofar that the Andalite prince will have to meet with Dak and the other Hork Bajir on their planet. Then Dak walks away, fucking drops the mic. Aldrea rushes to catch up with Dak. She's like, damn, that was so fucking cool. She asks if that was wise, though. After all, the Andalites are here to help. Dak says, no, they have not come to help. The Andalites have come to kill Yeerks. The Hork Bajir are only pawns to the Andalites. Aldrea refuses to accept this. Later, a familiar Andalite ship returns the Jahar, the My Wife. Alloran exits the ship to meet with Dak and Aldrea. He says, oh, old chums. And he calls Aldrea a female child, real cool guy move, addresses Dak as simply Hork Bajir in order to thank him, and then turns around to immediately Dak interrupts Alloran's exit, asking if he may brief him on the situation here. Dak does not wait to see if Alloran approves of the briefing. He simply begins providing a thorough overview of the 14 Yeerk ground bases, their 3 mining camps, their construction area. He updates Alloran on the Yeerk technological breakthroughs, the weapons they're using, the new ship they're building, a mysterious craft they've taken to calling a Blade ship. Unfortunately, the Andalites are not prepared. They did not take Aldrea's distress calls seriously, as she was the female child of a disgraced Prince Zero. Great memoir title. There are an estimated 40,000 Yeerk controllers. The Andalite army is about 2,000 in number. Any reinforcements additionally would take about a year, not an Earth year, a year. At this very moment, the Yeerks are like, hey, buds, we're going to attack you.
It is always a year, I'm noticing. It's always like, Axe is like, it'll take like a year for the Andalites to get. It's always a year.
Yeah.
I love Sophor showing up. I love Dak's confidence to be like, this is our planet. This is our war. And you will meet with me.
Yes.
About it.
Yeah. Yeah. His also...
And then Alloran being like... Bleh.
His summary, his briefing is actually so good too. Like they really nail, like he just sounds so, it's so deliciously competent in response to, like he mentions what they're mining. Like he's like, here are all the things they're mining. Yep. Like it's just a really good moment.
And it's just matter of fact. He doesn't gloat. Yeah. He doesn't shove it in their faces that they were wrong. He's just like, here's the situation. And they're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But well, not then exactly, but like before when she's like, are you sure that was the wise thing to do? She's like, no, Andalites wouldn't do that. No, babe. Like, you just don't know my parents. It's fine. That's just how they are. Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's also a cute moment because they end up on the Andalite ship for the briefing and he makes it into space. Is that true in this chapter? We were taken aboard a rather beautiful Andalite warship. Unlike others I had seen, a name on the hull said the Jahar. So they're on board.
So they they go on board, but only once the personal ship of the prince lands on the planet.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I sort of lost the sequence of events.
This is actually an unbelievable moment for this book where, like, at some point earlier in the book, Aldrea promises to take Dak to space.
Yeah, he mentions it. He's like, she's once promised to take me flying.
She fulfills that promise.
Yeah.
But it's in a way that is, like, unforeseen and more complicated than he could have imagined.
Yeah, and he says it makes him sad that he can't enjoy the moment because he has to deal with the war.
Yes.
And he says, I had to remain totally unimpressed. He couldn't like pretend, like, or he couldn't show that he thought the spaceship was fucking cool.
Yeah, he's playing an unbelievable hand of poker right now.
Oh, when we bring him to Survivor, Dak.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Dak is gonna win. Yeah. Dak is like fire. If he doesn't win in the next Survivor,
crazy.
We should do one after this, actually. We should do one after this book. Mm-hmm. Can we?
I
feel
don't know.
Like we have enough.
I think they told us to wait till after the David trilogy, but I don't know.
I think we have to do another season because the David trilogy is just going to introduce more people.
And that's true.
We need it. It'll make our David versus Goliath season really good. We just don't know who Goliath is.
Oh, that's so true.
Well, anyway, that's all I have for this chapter. Shall we?
Yeah, we can move on.
Shall we pivot? Let's do it.
Chapter 29.
Unless you had something, Eddie. Did you have something?
Yeah. Well, so I did have the thought. We were speaking about K.A. traveling through time to rewrite the books. And I feel like that's the only reason the Jahar's back here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She's like, I'm going to do a callback just for them because they... Yeah.
She literally she went back the first time and wrote My Wife. And then she was like, wait, that's too on the nose. I'll just put
they'll
know.
Yeah. Gotta hide it a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 29?
Yep.
Chapter 29. Esplin Esplin has been promoted. He's Sub-Visser 12 now, baby. And however happy you are to hear that change of title, chances are that you're not nearly as swollen with pleasure, I'd call it pride, as Esplin. All of his studying of the Andalites is paying off, too. He's able to shower his expertise. Oh, why did I say shower? He's able to show off his expertise.
You know why.
He's able to show off his expertise during space combat, destroying one Andalite fighter than another. The Andalites are still destroying nearly twice as many Yeerks, but there are far more Yeerk fighters than Andalite. As long as the Andalite reinforcements are slow, the Yeerks should take this.
So Esplin actually says that he's swelling with pleasure, and I was just really disturbed by
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
hang on.
He says...
I gotta find that. Heard the title and swelled with pleasure. He does say
I
that.
don't want
I've been
him
newly
to.
promoted.
I don't want him to. I would ask him not to swell with pleasure.
He then also says that Sub-Visser 13 had been killed and Sub-Visser 15 was being executed for incompetence and cowardice. It's so hard to find good help these days. He does not say what happened to Sub-Visser 14, but he says there are 9 Vissers, but also there are new promotions every day and new Sub-Vissers and Vissers are added. Like, it's chaos. There's no order.
It sounds like a tech startup, like, gone mad. Like, it is just like, it is scooters in the main hall.
Yeah.
It is like...
Nobody
it is
knows
like
who's in
sleeping
charge.
pods and
Nobody
yoga
knows
classes.
who, it's great now, but, like, do they have a plan? Do they even know what app they're developing? Or are they all
No,
just
they
like...
don't.
Yeah, I think this is
They
the
don't.
exact moment. So many jobs I've worked at have directors, associate directors, and assistant directors. And I feel like this is when you start running into that problem where it's just like, which director am I?
I'm the vice president of direction.
Yeah. Which is actually a very low role because
Yeah, you'd be
I'm
surprised.
second to the
Yeah.
president
Yeah.
of direction who merely offers guidelines on the idea of direction.
Yeah, the
But that
president
has
of
to be
direction is
ratified
actually
by-
beneath all the assistant directors. You'd
now,
be
the president of
surprised.
indirection. Now that's the role you want because that one doesn't sound powerful. I don't have a lot to say on this chapter because it's all the details. Like this, we in books previous, we've hit chapters and been like, go read it. This is one of those where it's just the steeziest, the thing about it is we are watching Visser 3 come online.
Yeah.
And also be kind of in his most irritating, he's about as annoying as he ever gets here. He is viscering so hard at us.
And he's unfortunately good at his job. It's really,
The research
it's really
paid off.
frustrating because we've
It's
seen
crazy,
him
too.
be bad at his job. And so to see him be good at his job is confusing.
Yeah.
And it's also just crazy because it's hard to remember that this is the first time we've had him as a narrator.
True.
It's his voice is so strong. His style so dripping.
True.
It's just oozing with panache. Is that a thing you can say?
I think so. I've never heard of it, but I know panache, and I know you can ooze with things. So I think you could ooze with
And the
panache.
Yeerks ooze. The Visser oozes.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
There
sure.
You go.
How would you say he compares to Ivan Ooze?
Oh, you know what?
think-
Actually, very fucking similar.
I think they might have really similar vibes.
Yeah.
He's hotter
so-
than Ivan Ooze. I'm sure Ivan Ooze is someone's type.
Ivan
He's
Ooze had his
younger.
thing.
He's younger than Ivan Ooze.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
young
true.
Ivan Ooze was
Ooze
sealed
is
away
his
for
name.
1,000 years.
Yeah.
It's true. But all of that to say, this is a thing. Just go read it. It's
We get a schwoom.
We got Schwoom Tsews, an Andalite body hurtling through space. He's excited about it.
gets rock hard at that animal.
No,
he's
nobody
rolling
said
with
that.
pleasure.
Nobody said that.
Sorry, what does that mean to you? I'm imagining a very erect Yeerk.
my face gets all red and it gets a little bit bigger because just a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
yeah.
Don't talk to me about my fucking.
Do we
wisdom
think?
teeth.
Okay, so he hears the title and he swells with pleasure. When he learns about Sub-Visser 15 being executed for incompetence and cowardice, do you think he continues to swell? Is that?
I'm just going to pivot smoothly to chapter 30.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
uncomfortable.
I feel like this chapter is flagging, if you know what I mean. Let's
Yeah.
We were not saved by the Andalites, Dak narrates. 6 more months pass, and the Andalites are reduced from 2,000 to 400. Dak's Hork Bajir army shrinks from 42, when the Andalites arrived, to now just 12. While the remaining Andalite army hides in Z-space, the free Hork Bajir hide with the Yarn. The Yeerks have since discovered the Yarn, and when they learned that they could not infest the Yarn, they simply turned them into slaves in their mining camps. When an Yarn is injured or tired, the Yeerks use them for target practice. Sorry, when an Arn is injured or tired, the Yeerks use them for target practice. Only Quatsy's city of Arn are safe for now, simply because the Hork Bajir and Andalites have protected them. Dak has noticed that there is one particular Arn dwelling where there are always a few Andalites on guard. What could they be hiding? Aldrea is convinced that Dak is overthinking this, so Dak decides to test his theory. He asks to enter the dwelling and is refused by the Andalite guards. Aldrea then tries to enter and is also told to move along. Dak is outraged. How can the Andalites treat the Hork Bajir like inferiors even after months of fighting together? Aldrea argues that the Andalites simply don't know Dak, how unlike the other Hork Bajir he is, and this offends Dak even further. Yes, of course, the Andalites have simply mistaken him for one of the stupid, expendable Hork Bajir. Dak continues,
You almighty Andalites. There is no limit to your arrogance, is there? Well, let me tell you something. We may be simple people, but we don't use biology to invent monsters. And we don't enslave other species. And we don't unleash a plague of parasites on the galaxy, endangering every other free species and then go swaggering around like the lords of the universe. No, we're too simple for all that. We're too stupid to lie and manipulate. We're too stupid to be ruthless. We're too stupid to know how to build powerful weapons designed to annihilate our enemies. Until you came, Andalite, we were too stupid to know how to kill.
The anger had burned itself out, Dak says. He felt hollow. Not better, not relieved, just empty and tired.
We were peaceful people, tending our trees, ignorant of our creators, unaware of everyone else in the galaxy. Now look at us. Now look what has become of us. The despised children of the Yarn, slaves of the Yeerks, tools of the Andalites.
Dak and Aldrea embrace. She tells Dak that she will help him learn what the Andalites are hiding. She hopes that she will never have to choose between Dak and her people, but if that day comes, she'll stand with Dak. Dak smiles. He appreciates what Aldrea said, but he doesn't believe her. Such a good scene.
Rough, dude. Yeah. Hadn't really inhabited Dak until you made me read those. That was
Well, you said how
wild.
much you liked his speech, so I was like, why don't we just hear it?
I do.
Yeah.
It's a good speech. Yeah. It's really good.
It's set like a jewel in this chapter too. Like everything that surrounds the speech, everything about how like Aldrea's hearing it and processing it in real time is really powerful.
Yeah. And like, first of all, just as an aside, I do love that the Arn's plan to stop the Yeerks from infesting them did work. Love that for them.
Because you see our brains
Have the
explode.
day you deserve. Yeah. Have the day you deserve.
That's unbelievable. It's like really comical. It's really embarrassing.
I had a moment as I was going back over my notes for this to prepare today where I thought about what it means for this book, which is so centered around the idea of a cultural identity and what it means to be from where you're from and of the people you are of, to have so many moments where they stare directly into the core of the planet.
Yeah.
I just think that's a really like nice framing for it.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because earlier when I was doing my rereading, I similarly was like, that's such a powerful image, and yet I can't quite reconcile the gravity of that image, if you will, with like everything else that's going on. And I was trying to like think about like what it meant for like the Arn to be hiding at the center of the earth and like getting at the truth of things.
Yeah.
And like, like there was like a lot of that wandering around.
It's
in my
hard.
brain.
It's hard to quite decide what I feel like it means. It's just so interesting to chew on because like Dak gets down here and he meets his creators who created him for a purpose that he had no idea about and that the other Hork Bajir know nothing about. And yet when he stares down at the core of this planet, it's as much his planet as it is theirs. And there's something so, I don't know, it just feels weighty in a way. And I really like the device of it.
Well,
you know what I
some,
mean?
like, daddy energy too. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's father deep, and like he's like, not to say that moms don't rise to the occasion. Like mommies have mommy daddies, daddy mommies, all of that. I'm just saying it's like they're doing something here. There's something about this like awakening and this like dealing with external factors thing with Doc that's just maybe it's just a little too relatable as I cross that threshold of 34.
Oh, I know what you mean. It is, and it's like the layers surrounding it were literally stripped away. They were blown away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the core of this planet is now visible, and it's hidden behind a fog that the Arn created to create a surface level appearance of their planet that has nothing to do with what's on the inside of it. And that's like, you know?
Yeah. I really hope that we get some of this, because it's not, I will keep wanting to say world building, but it's like there's like a real sense of place to this book, and the verticality of it is just so interesting too, because it is the world building, like the physical worlds of like the areas of this book are actually kind of stacked on top of each other, and it just creates a really cool atmosphere. And I feel like I always bring up Dark Souls, but it reminds me of in Dark Souls often places are linked to each other by going up or down, so there's like things that kind of
they're
are
literally built on top of each other.
And you'll ride an elevator up and you won't realize that this one area is built on top of another until you take that elevator up and just end up somewhere else. And it kind of...
Right, because you encountered it first on the surface, and then you went down and you moved around, and it wasn't until you rode that elevator up that you realized you were now, like you had been beneath where a place you had been before.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah, and
it is interesting.
It has that Snowpiercer Matrix, like I don't know what to call it, like thing where it's like the truth reveals like almost like different laws of physics at every turn, where it's like the Hork Bajir existed in this world where it's as simple as don't eat the yellow bark, you won't get sick. You know, don't go in the blue mist, you won't get hurt. And like it is just like every realm has its own, like, almost like Alice in Wonderland rule set and motivation, and it's so legible, but like, it's almost like because it's vertical and limited, it's so legible as world building. Because like, in this series, it's been like, okay, the Andalites are way over on this planet, the Hork Bajir are way over, the Texans are here, and we like got like some flavors of like the living mound. What was it called? The
Living Hive.
Shit. And
it was a mound.
It was a mound. But when everything is far away, it doesn't say much. The Andalites are on their way. The Yeerks are here. Why are the Yeerks here? What do they actually need us for?
I think,
what's the...
Well,
like,
they've sort of answered that in that they need a lot of bodies. But what I think the books suffer from, if I could put it into my words, if I may cut you off, do you know...
Just to summarize, it's like, it is extremely hard, I think, and this is a problem I think it's sci-fi writ large, is to grapple with the scale of space. And in world building, I think it's also hard. It's like, the people on this coast in a fantasy world rarely have to deal with the things on this coast unless some god is literally about to rip up the earth.
Right. So
anyway, what were you going to say?
Well, what I was going to say is I think what Animorphs, the main series, struggles with is... it's by necessity trying to be sort of an Anytown USA.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
And they can't tell you where they are. So, like, you could either say, because they can't tell us where they are, they can't give us enough detail to make us really feel the space, or you could look at it from another lens, which is because they're trying to make it accessible to as many small towns and any town as possible, they don't want to give too much detail because they want anybody to feel like it could be their town. But this takes place in a very specific place, and it can because it doesn't take place on Earth.
Yeah.
So, like, being on Earth seems to limit them because they don't want to say definitively this took place here at this time with these people, because that feels more limiting for a young reader who wants to believe that maybe they could meet the Animorphs. And I know they didn't actually think that, but that was sort of the conceit of this really could be anywhere. And so they can't build it up as much.
They picked, K.A. said this in an interview that we read or we talked about, that she picked the red-tailed hawk for Tobias's morph because the red-tailed hawk is basically one of the only birds that she could think of that could appear in any part of the United States. And that's what she was imagining. Cool birds, yes. And she wanted kids everywhere to be able to look out their window and see that bird and go, oh, that's Tobias. And
exactly.
So she runs into the thing also where she, with this city that the kids live in, she's also trying to give enough details that could feasibly be anywhere. So we get a quarry, we get the ocean, we get the coast, we get the mountains. Like it kind of also everywhere. It's like nowhere and everywhere, and that's really hard to hold in your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a way in which, like, and you know, it's funny. I don't know if you've ever run into this, but if you ever play a real world role playing game, it gets very unfun very quickly because there's something about the fantasy of the thing up against the reality of the thing where the fantasy of the thing has to trump, and then it just has no primer to it. There's nothing for the paint to hold on to.
Yeah, it's like we're not in the real world now, so like,
Yeah, but like my friends had always told me they played a game where like it was a zombie game set here, and like that sounds interesting, but then like that's something I think you can only do when you're like at a point in your life when everything is fantastical.
Right.
And then like the idea of doing that now, it just feels like it would be a very
it makes a certain cool amount of sense to use locations that you know in your role playing, right? Like, what if a location that you're very familiar with was
that's not what I'm
overrun
talking
by
about,
zombies,
though.
but like
that's not what I'm talking about so much as I'm talking about like it's almost like the reality of knowing it's somewhere in America and needing it to be like scrubbed of that in a way that feels safe and approachable for the reader.
Yeah, okay.
It's like sandblasted down into like a thing that is unrelatable probably equally to everybody.
Right, like a faceless teen covered in acne working at a McDonald's.
Right, exactly. Like, just take the sandblaster to that. Exactly.
The only other thing I had for this chapter, because we've been, you know, going hard at it, even before his speech, she says something about, like, they only treated you like shit because they didn't know you were the seer. And he's like, he doesn't say this exactly, but I took his response to be like, hey, because he's like, oh yeah, they assumed I was a stupid, expendable Hork Bajir. And I'm like, I so get that point even today. It's like, oh, they didn't know you were important. They didn't know you had money. It's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't treat anybody like shit.
Yep.
Maybe we shouldn't treat anybody like that, regardless of if they're quote unquote important.
Yeah.
And that just like really, I don't know. I really felt his rage in that moment. And is this the chapter where he says he's been struggling with anger?
Oh yeah, it's in chapter 28.
So the last Camille chapter.
He and all the other Andalites all laughed. I had to struggle to control my temper. Lately, I've been having more and more trouble with anger.
Yeah.
There are 17 Yeerk ground bases spread throughout the 14
it's right before
valleys.
he gives the briefing. And he knows he has to keep it together because he can't seem anything. And I don't know. Something interested me in the idea that as he gets smarter and keeps being treated as stupid, he struggles with anger. Like, that was interesting to me.
It's relatable.
Yeah.
Well, and it makes sense. This isn't quite there, but also he's around the Andalites. Like, literally, Sophor's first thought is, like, because we've seen this with the kids, too, is that Doc is a walking weapon. And so for any anger, they already see him as a threat, even if he's like the Hork Bajir are a gentle species. So any anger is just going to activate that fear that already exists. So
Oh, that's a whole layer I didn't even think of. That puts a whole other layer on
It's
it.
kind of wild because it's like they're both seen as impotent herbivores, and then the second they
get angry, they're walking weapons.
Yeah.
Wow, it almost sounds like something.
Like fantasy.
I don't know what.
Like a fantastical...
See,
There's
this is
nothing
what I'm saying,
in real
is when
life.
They set it in America with the horrible, terrible. Oh man, the world sucks.
Yeah.
Everything sucks.
Yeah.
Do you wanna tell us
Let's
what
keep
sucks
it
about
light.
Chapter 31,
I
Chris?
do want to tell you what sucks about Chapter 31. And another thing. Aldrea meets with Alloran about the guarded room. He will not reveal anything to her, telling Aldrea to mind her own business. Alloran was always arrogant, Aldrea says. Months of hopeless battle had made him brutal, distant, and exhausted. Still, Aldrea pleads, even taking his hand in hers. The morphing technology is still so new that Alloran doesn't notice the strange lethargy overtaking him as Aldrea acquires his dinner. She returns to Dak, who has already been tipped off to her meeting with Alloran by Jagil's partner, Delph. Dak is worried that Alloran maybe is onto Aldrea. I read into and I was like, that's a different book.
So there was a love triangle.
Surely he or his guards would notice Aldrea absorbing him as a morph. Aldrea demonstrates how subtle the morph acquisition process is. This is a really good bit of sleight of hand in this book.
Yeah.
Taking Delph's hand in hers, just as she did with Alloran. Aldrea morphs into Alloran and escorts Dak into the guarded room. There, they learn that the secret Alloran has been guarding is the production of a virus. But why would Alloran and the Andalites be producing a virus? The purpose of this virus, they learn, is to attack a specific living creature at the subatomic level, causing death within minutes of the entire species. The creature? Hork Bajir.
It's the quantum virus. Also, transdalite?
Yeah, it's true. Very good.
The
we
whole
got Aldrea
narrative
walking around.
of her
She has
whole
her
book.
Tomcat moment. She
does, and she's been talking about how
her
no one
grizzly
takes her
bear
seriously
moment.
because she was a girl, and now she's like, oh, I felt the increased power of being in a male form. When I turned my stalk eyes, I saw the heavy tail blade of a male. I also felt the slight male clumsiness, the lack of subtle balance that a female Andalite possesses. So she sees the positives of the male, but she also notes the drawbacks. So she is non-bandalitery. I can't do it. It's not happening.
It's not happening. It's really not. And I really admire you for trying.
No, I think we should keep repeating it. Non-bandalite.
Non-bandalite.
No, I think the correct move is to iterate. To move
Non-bandalite.
on.
Well, I think we have to. We all understand. I mean, some people some people don't agree, but the non-bandalites fall under the transdalite umbrella.
Yes.
So I think we can just keep saying transdalite.
Yeah,
I think that's
Has
fine.
anybody made an OnlyFandalites joke?
No, not at
Okay.
least we haven't.
I don't think we have. Somebody has.
Well,
All
there's
right.
a Fandalites. Fandalites is a
Right.
podcast.
But only Fandalites.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And so, listeners, you heard it here first. See, we're starting a contest. Guess how many episodes from now someone in earnest lands this joke.
Well,
And if you can get me the domain, I will draw Andalite. I do have to warn you, I cannot
that real?
draw.
I think-
but I will do it.
I think you actually just have
Yeah.
to draw some lewd pictures now.
Well, like,
for
I
the
can't
Discord.
draw. Like, it's not going to look like anything, but I'll put
That's
the
okay.
stock eyes on them. I'll put the, like...
I think so Axe is slowly coming to terms with the fact that his heroic older brother is human. And I think the final
You mean
nail in the
fallible.
fallible. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
You have no idea how confusing that word
no.
choice
What is his
was.
human name?
Like, I was sitting there like
No.
I don't know where Eddie is
I'm like,
going
he
with
did
this.
live as a
Yeah,
human
what
for
was
a
his
couple
human
of
name?
years.
That's what I'm talking about, of course.
I think it went by L or something.
Yeah.
Elf? I don't know.
Yeah, Elfangor?
Elfie.
Alfie.
Alfangor.
Alfangor. That's what he
Alfangor.
went for.
No, it's Alf, the alien that eats cats.
Oh, so true.
But I think the
back.
last moment of
Fuck form.
seeing that his brother is just like him is that he had to work a side job as he became Prince Elfangor, where he had his own OnlyFan account, and I think
Okay. I was wondering how this was tying back in. Okay, I see the vision now.
Me a while.
That's very good. Very good.
I see I was like, what does this have to do with Hork Bajir? No, that's a good chapter. I love that Alloran gets like what he deserves, but also, so we know she acknowledges that Alloran was always arrogant. And like that's all we've really seen him be up until this point, right? But she's like, something changed in him during this war, which confirms what we saw in Andalite Chronicles, which is that he is like broken down. Mm-hmm. Like his willingness to do the quantum virus, which like still, like when they confront him about it in Andalite Chronicles, he's like, I did what I had to do. But I feel like there was a moment of like vulnerability with that, where he's like, yeah, if you had been there, if you had known what we were facing, and now we're seeing what he was facing, and it was still like morally the wrong decision, but we see that something like broke in him during this conflict. And I think that's an interesting thing to see. And maybe, I mean, like, Eddie, you had a note earlier that we didn't really touch on, which is that, like, Axe was confronted with the idea of killing for the first time intentionally, not just in, like, self-defense, with one of his own people who was not even infested. And we know that Alloran was a bad dude. And he knows that Alloran was, like, an iffy dude. He doesn't know about the quantum virus, but, like, he knows that he maybe wasn't, like, the best. Mm-hmm. But, like, you drew, like, a thing about, like, Aldrea was alone here, and so we need to apply that to Axe. Axe was completely alone. How could he kill the only other Andalite he saw in that moment? But, like, I don't know, something about seeing him like this almost makes me think he may have been more sympathetic in that moment than we were giving him credit for. That he may have come off to Axe as a truly broken down, not just by Visser 3, but by everything that had happened to him, individual, and that, like, killing him just felt like killing someone who was so completely defenseless and broken that even if you knew Visser 3 was going to go back inside him, it didn't feel like the right thing to do.
Yeah, because I feel like we had trouble understanding
why they didn't just kill
Axe's decision in that moment. And I think the reason, I was trying to remember as we've been doing this, why that came back to me. And maybe it's that moment where Aldrea has Esplin and she can't do it. But also we're just getting a lot of context for who Alloran is. And it's just by the time Alloran is the Andalite that Axe is confronting, he's kind of not even Alloran anymore. Like he's been captive for so long that you kind of have to imagine he's like the most stripped down version of himself. And probably I do think he brings up his wife and his kids, but I feel like he doesn't really have a self by that point.
No. But even when you think back, or when I think back to who we saw in Andalite Chronicles, like, I don't know, it's just well done that they bothered to, again, I always say it's like they had the respect for their readers that this was going to mean something to them, that seeing what shaped who we saw in Andalite Chronicles as an utterly war-hungry, monstrous person, we were going to see him here and go, yeah, he used to be arrogant, but he was really shaped by the fact that this went really, really wrong. Yeah. And it was his fault.
Yeah. And yet he had, even at the beginning of this book, we still saw an Alloran who did not have any of what Ciro had for any of the, it's not empathy, but it's, like it was just complete condescension. Like he couldn't fathom taking the Yeerk seriously as anything. True. I mean, he just saw them as worms, like literal, like worms. Yeah. Like, and
it's like here he overcorrected to say we should view everyone as a potential enemy.
Yeah.
And by Andalite Chronicles, he's still of that mindset, despite the fact that this went so horrifically wrong. It's like he doubled down and had to believe he was right, or else he wouldn't be able to live with himself.
Yeah.
And that's like so much for this book to be doing, and it's doing it, I think. I mean, maybe I'm reading more into it than is there, but like,
I think it's there.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I am so sick and tired of these books disrespecting sequences of numbers. And like the 66 in Esplin's name not having a hyphen being an example where it's like, so you're telling me like if there was a 6-5 and you iterate 1, you're just skipping like, you know, if we have 10,000, they do it right here with virus Q118.
Yeah. What the hell does that mean?
What the fuck? It's just like it's Q118 or it's Q1-8. Well, what are you telling me right now?
Well, like that would make
What does
sense
that
if it was 1.18 or dash, like in programmer language
Numbers
it would be
have meaning.
right, but like in programmer language, if it was .18, that would be like a version of the original version of the. It's like we made one.
I am well aware of Semver. I hear people talking to high heaven about semantic versioning all day.
So this is out of 0, right? We're out of alpha. We might only be in beta still, though. It's hard to say, but like
if they said 1.18, I would not be yelling right now.
We can reimagine the scene right here. So we have Aldrea and Dak, but I would like to insert Chris into the scene. We have Aldrea, Dak, and Chris. And we have, you know, Aldrea say virus Q118 is a quantum virus.
Right.
Aldrea whispers no. And Dak says, ask it what specific type of living creature. And Chris is like, no, I have a more important question. What do you mean by Q118?
How many iterations of this have we done? Yes.
Yeah.
I want to see the comment logs. Like,
Yes,
Dak, we will get to your
see the
question.
git
I'm sure
commits.
it's a very good question, but I have another question to ask. Yeah, it'd be a very different scene with you there, Chris. And that's why you're not there. So
KA was too scared to go back in time and write it.
maybe she will now.
yeah.
Maybe next time we come through, we'll be characters in these
I
books.
think you'd be a Chadu. Chris
Chris
Oh,
would be
you
a
think
Chadu.
I'd be a Chadu? Real fucking nice. If I'm a Chadu, you're a Chadu too. And that
A Chadu
won't
just
do.
flies in the window capable of speech, and everyone's like,
How
I
do
didn't
you
know
do,
Chadoos
Chadu,
could
Chadu?
Let
talk.
me ask my question first.
And the Chadoo's like, listen to me. I don't care what you fucking know about me. You guys are idiots.
More like a Chadone. All right.
Chadoo you even code?
Thanks for listening to Anidorks. We'll be back soon with lots more to say. Until the Andalites return, or at least until next time. See you soon!